Fellas, AC here, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to talk about a Thierry Mugler. It's a very famous fragrance, Pure Havane. Pure Havane. A couple of things that will come to your mind when somebody mentions Havana is cigars, rum, clean air, sunshine, that sort of thing, This fragrance tries to emulate some of those aspects. And this is obviously a flanker to the Amen. And this was released, I believe, in 2011. Yeah, 2011. And this, I think, is Jacques Huclier's best designer, I think. That was the parfumeur. And, the way he has created this fragrance tells you about how he thinks about composition when it comes to a budget fragrance. Now, I term this a budget because this is less than £50 for 100 ml. Still is. There are two brandings nowadays. One is the Mugler branding and one is the Thierry Mugler branding. This is a 2015 vintage, I believe, 2016 vintage. I've had it for 4 or 5 years. Can't remember exactly how long. And the current one, Mugler, apparently is rumored to be less in performance. I haven't checked, so I do not know. This one is okay. So-so in the performance. The longevity is fantastic. But let's talk about the fragrance. See, the thing is, Pure Havane uses components or notes which are very common. It uses some really very famous combinations like tobacco, honey, vanilla, this, that, and the other. So let's start. When you first spray this, it smells like a medicine. The very first memory I have of Pure Havane is of medicine. It smelled like a thick cough syrup. And it smells like that, but changes within seconds. And the first thing that you'll smell is like a cherry liquor. There is no mention of cherry in the notes, and it smells like a very sour cherry liquor. So I'm thinking Tia Maria, coffee cherry type smell. And I understand why I mentioned Tia Maria, because it's boozy. It's extremely boozy, and there's no mention of booze in the note breakdown. It's very thin and yet very rich, very thin. There is absolutely no thickness, the kind of stuff you would get from a multi-layered niche with honey and tobacco and this, that, and the other. The reason I mention niche is the notes breakdown will make you think as if this is some sort of a modern niche fragrance. So there's no depth. It'll become more and more resinous and thick later on. But when you spray this is more or less thin, synthetic, and sort of herbal, medicinal, chocolatey smell. As I said, it's Tia Maria mixed with the smell of sour cherry and slight hint of vanilla. That's all you smell. I might make it sound a little bit odd, but it's not. It's actually very nice. All these things somehow are bound together by a note of tobacco, which is muted. Extremely muted, doesn't smell like tobacco at all at this point in time. And it's sweet, sweet, boozy, herbal, medicinal, right? With a little hint of tobacco, that's all. When the fragrance goes into about 15, 20, even 30 minutes dry down, that cherry note goes up, the boozy note comes down, and little bit of tobacco and vanilla combination comes up. And this tobacco and vanilla combination makes the fragrance everybody's favorite, because everybody likes the warmth and the richness. The warmth of vanilla and the richness of tobacco. This is why this is known as a tobacco fragrance, one of the best tobacco fragrances ever created. But I don't think this is a tobacco fragrance. And this is why I don't think this is a tobacco fragrance. The fragrance loses its tobacco note. Booze is already gone. Vanilla starts to depreciate, and what you get in essence is a very strong cistus labdanum and sort of rock rose. Can't remember the name of the note. I had it in my mind. That's what it reminds me of. Labdanum is there, which is rock rose, and there is this styrax, because I keep forgetting that. And styrax has this smell, which styrax is very popular in many niche fragrances, and it's a superb binding agent. And that's what I get. I get this styrax benzoin. Benzoin smells a little bit like sort of sour vanilla. So the sourness in the note and the strange sort of leathery kind of a balsamic note, which is Cistus labdanum. They mix together to create this amber accord, and that amber accord is mixed and with slight hint of vanilla, maybe little bit of tobacco and a little bit of honey. That's it is. It's basically an amber fragrance. And since I've worn it so much, I mean, if I have a look, I mean, I must have worn it at least 30 ml in the last 5 years. The more you wear it, the more you realize this has never been a tobacco fragrance. You know, everybody's tobacco fragrance list has pure Havana. This is not a tobacco fragrance. It's an amber fragrance with hints and subtleties of tobacco, but not a tobacco fragrance. There's a chocolatey note in this fragrance. The patchouli plays a big role in the dry down, which is a bit like dark chocolate mixed with slight spicy herbalness. And that's there, absolutely. But it's never been a tobacco fragrance, yeah? So it's basically a very warm, jovial amber fragrance. Slightly spicy, but very warm and vibrant. And obviously resinous because it keeps growing on its density. When you first spray it, it's very synthetic. It's very thin. It keeps growing, you know, in volume. So that's what the fragrance is. Now, upsides and downsides. Number one upside of this fragrance is this is a beautiful composition, guys. It's really one of those really cozy, like any amber fragrance does, you know. It's a cozy up scent. It brings you closer. It really makes the conversation flow. It's very attractive, extremely jovial, yeah. It has this bright, radiant warmth about itself. Really, really nice. So I think this is going to be a fantastic, well, this always is a very, very nice date night fragrance, in my opinion. Yeah. If you forget the opening is completely different, very synthetic. Number two is how broad the use of this fragrance is. You can wear this to work, no problem. It doesn't project a lot. It's very warm, it's very comforting, so it's going to keep you really comfortable at work, especially in between weather. You can wear this to a date. It's absolutely a date fragrance. You might be able to pull this off as a party or a night out fragrance, but it doesn't have the projection. You can wear this to a casual event. You can wear this to a wedding. Really a broad array of occasions that you can wear this fragrance to. Number three is the composition quality. You know, how many times have we heard vanilla tobacco, honey tobacco, yeah? But this fragrance takes all these notes on a budget and creates a fabulous fragrance. Really, all the experiences are there. As I said, you know, it starts off smelling like a sweet cherry liquor. Then you have this vanilla and tobacco combination. Then this beautiful warm amber with patchouli. It's amazing, yeah? That chocolatey patchouli and amber, the dry down, is a killer. The fragrance has so many experiences all intertwined into one. Brilliant. The fourth is the value for money. These sort of fragrances are so hard to get hold of, you know. Which fragrance in this budget gives you all those experiences? I can probably count them in fingers of both my hands, you know. It's very rare. So downsides. Number one downside is the synthetic beginning and the way it's so sour and medicinal, it can really put you off. The moment you spray this, if you don't like that opening, it'll put you off. But persist with it, because after a while, you'll see. It takes a bit of wearing. After a while, you'll see that this is one of a kind fragrance. This is one of those fragrances that, you know, the longer it stays on your skin, the better it becomes. Number two, sort of downside is this is not everybody's cup of tea. It's got so many nuances, so many notes that people who like designer fragrances that are simple, soapy, that sort of thing, you know, it's really easy, linear fragrances. This is not a linear fragrance. So it's not going to be your cup of tea if you're not an experienced nose, or if you're not a patient kind of a guy who really likes to, just get a result the moment he sprays it. It's not that kind of a fragrance, right? It'll not give you the result in the first few wearings. Those are the two downsides. Now, weather, in between weather, smells amazing when it's a little bit cold. It's now getting warm at the moment, but still is amazing, yeah? So in between weather. So spring, winter and autumn is the best weather to wear this fragrance. Smells outstanding. The cherry and sweetness comes up a bit more when it's cold. Occasions are covered, age groups are covered. I think I'm quite happy to recommend this to a 25-year-old. Not a problem. It has a mature, wealthy vibe to it, when it dries down. The rum or the cognac and the cigar lifestyle is not for a 25-year-old unless he's born with a silver spoon. So it is a slightly mature scent, but I have no problems recommending it to a 25-year-old because when it dries down, it's one of the most beautiful, huggable, romantic fragrances ever. It's a fabulous fragrance. I really enjoyed this. So, marks out of 10. It starts as a 7. And being a designer, which doesn't cost a lot of money, it shows exemplary development, composition quality. I'm going to give it a 9. It's superb. One of the best fragrances, but remember, it's not a tobacco fragrance. Tobacco is one of the notes, but this is mostly a very cozy amber fragrance. 9 out of 10. Hope you like the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.